everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I am your host, Dave.
And I'm the guy riding on his coattails, Don.
I don't
The
know
other
about
host.
that. You're not riding on my. there's nothing to ride on. Uh,
I'd say so.
all
I
right,
digress.
all right. Well, here we are together again on a Sunday night. We got stuff to talk about. We're gonna be talking about. I did finally finish the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We'll talk about that a little bit. We got some Voltron news. I think you have a thing or two to say about that, Don. We got release date for that Spider-Man Superman crossover. I want to talk about that. And we got some news for Brand New Day, a little bit of, or rumors, a little bit of news for Doomsday, and then some comic stuff to talk about. And then we're going to talk about the thing that's got the internet lit up for the last couple of days. They released the trailer for Lanterns, and not everyone's happy. So we're going to talk about that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Comic book fans are unhappy about something. But with all that being said, how are you, sir? How was your week?
Man, my week was just busy. But what was cool is that today is like I didn't have to work. Like my first day off since January 16th.
Oh, wow.
So I really have just been like sleeping, working, maybe, at the end of the night getting an hour in of Marvel Rivals or whatnot. So it's good to be here, my day off, talking some nerd shit. And yeah,
Oh, well,
there you go.
There you go.
Exciting. Yeah.
It's always exciting to talk nerd shit.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know what I have been going on. I've had a somewhat busy week with work because our team lead is on vacation for 2 weeks, and as a developer, you'd make a coding change, you put it in to your repository, and then you have to have how my current company works. You have to have 2 people review them, and one of them has to be a team lead, and the other's a secondary. And there's the secondary reviewers on my team are me and the other developer that's not on vacation. So, and obviously you can't code review your own code.
Right.
So I haven't had to chase people down to do code reviews for me. And the other developer is allowed to be a surrogate as the lead, but like she's bogged down with having to do everything. So it's just been nuts and annoying, and I don't know if I'm going to get everything done because of that, but we'll see.
Oh, you're gonna miss a deadline, huh? Ooh.
Yeah.
Scary.
I know. Oh, always. No, developers don't care about deadlines. That's why video games always come out so late.
Or use AI, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then lose awards.
Other than that, so it's funny because normally Saturday night go to the girlfriend's and spend the night, but she had a lot to do today, so I went over, but didn't spend the night, but still ended up not getting home till after midnight, completely forgetting that we lost an hour this weekend. So it's also one of those things. I wake up and it's 10 o'clock and I'm like, I don't sleep this long. And then realizing it was after I go downstairs and make my coffee and get something to eat, I'm looking at the clock on the stove, which is like, saying it's 9. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I felt a little better, but I've been dragging all day because of it. So
yeah, my oven's the same way. Like I don't bother to change it. Yeah, but you're right. Right now, it's showing daylight saving.
Yeah.
And it'll take until I fuck something up because of time wrong. Then I'll finally get mad and change it. But it is funny though. The oven and microwave and older car stereos.
But my one brother for a long time would set his oven clock 3 minutes ahead So like
Oh,
getting ready in the morning, had to go get to the train, you
mhm.
know, and I'm like, but like that, like I've heard people, I've known people who do that trick. He's like the most prominent one I could think of in my head, and it's like, but in your head, you're gonna sit there and go, oh, I know it's a head, so
Yeah, so you'll compensate either way.
yeah, so
I don't know,
it,
some people are just like that. They know how
yeah,
to trick themselves.
I can't trick myself. I don't know. Maybe I'm too smart.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Possible.
the one thing I did do this week, I want to talk about this first, is I finished Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Um, and I will say this, it ended where I thought it was going to end, but the last episode was just a long about way to get there.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to end up with Egg being
Squire.
his squire, and they were going to ride off into the sunset. Like I knew that was how it was going to end, but it was just like, all of this like showing, oh, how people are going to not like him because he killed the one prince died because of him, and blah blah.
Yeah.
um hey Frosty, happy Sunday to you, sir. um so yeah. Now I have to ask this, right, because
Mhm.
you're a much bigger Game of Thrones fan than I am, and I know that this is a prequel series. Was
Mhm.
there anything set up in this show that it's like, oh, okay, that leads to this in Game of Thrones?
If it is, I didn't notice it. I'm sure there
Okay.
is. Like Egg is, I know he's kind of important in a later show, or at least his descendants are or whatnot. Of course, he's Targaryen, so that goes without
Right.
saying. But yeah, no, I just I find it interesting, I guess, the setup where Duncan, spoiler alert, Duncan, has Egg as his squire, but Duncan thinks that he's doing what his dad said, and that's not the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, that's what got me, like,
So again, it's just setting up the good guy, Duncan, up to like, yeah,
it's one of those
you just
situations where they ended it, so they can have a second season.
yeah,
It could end there, but obviously, like, they show that after credit scene where he's like, "Where's my son?"
yeah,
Um, and no one knows where he is, so it's like, and of course, they also give you that title card at the end, Knight of the Nine Kingdoms
yeah.
instead of the seven. So it's like, okay, is that going to be the title of the second season? you know, so we'll see. A lot of people like it. Been a lot of chatter online about this show, so I don't know what the numbers were like, but I have to imagine there'll be a second season. What do you think?
I think so. It got a lot of buzz during its run, and it's just really brief to me. Feels very brief.
Yeah,
Like it's a snippet almost.
yeah. I,
So
I,
again, it
I
didn't
mean,
even have the title. It didn't even have like the title song. Although it swelled it a couple times, during the show where it's like, oh, during those moments where it's like, yeah, this is Game of Thrones. Um, so it's very peculiar. It feels very small, I guess, compared
I,
to the other shows so far.
but that's the thing. I think for me, the appeal was that it was one contained story about this knight, Sir
Hmm.
Duncan, Sir Duncan
Yeah,
the Tall. So I didn't care about all the other kingdoms. I didn't care about, like, but I will say, um, you kind of have to have some knowledge of Game of Thrones to totally understand what's going on with the Iron Throne and all of the what you call it, the different houses and the different kingdoms, like, because they don't explain any of that, which is good, but I feel like if you don't know Game of Thrones, it might be confusing to people. So
yeah. I think overall, if you don't understand the history of Westeros and the Targaryens, of how the original Aegon came over with his dragons. You know, they have all these fucking dragons, which you see in House of Dragons. Although even at House of Dragon time, that shit's starting to decline. You know, they're starting to put them in pens and shit.
Right.
And really come to understand what the Targaryens were meant to do, which, again, spoiler alert, ultimately the Targaryens, the reason they can command dragons is because they are tasked with, they used to be tasked with using the dragons to kill the White Walkers. But they fucking inbred and got all fucked up, and the dragons eventually became smaller and smaller and went away. So knowing that this show happens after the dragons are basically gone and the Targaryens really don't have this power that they used to have, and then to see a little bit of an uprising during the events of the show, which of course is a character development for Duncan, but again, just all around him, you can, how the Squire guy, you know, talks about the Targaryens and everyone's starting to believe that they're just, you know, take, and don't give us, you know, shit about anybody. So yeah, I guess that's a very long way of saying you're right, Dave. It really helps if you know more about, and I don't read the books at all, so I mean, I'm only seeing TV shows.
And it's also before I get to Frosty's comment, it's also interesting that oh shoot, the thought went out of my head.
Oh no.
Shoot. Oh no, the and I said this last week, the comparison to A Knight's Tale, where it's like the what you call it, they're doing all this stuff because it's tradition, not because they believe in all this anymore, right? And and it is an interesting thought, like how is it that they are staying in power when they don't have dragons, you know? And it's like because they're a-holes and they do whatever they can to stay in power, you know? Frosty says, I want a prequel about House Lannister.
That would be cool, because one of my, if not my favorite character, one of my favorite characters would be Tywin Lannister, you know, from the Game of Thrones, played by Charles Dance.
Right.
Absolutely love that character. And I would love to see kind of more about that, you know. So yeah, I'm with him.
Thrawn, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to destroy the Brie Larson, not join them. I feel like Thrawn spends all week trying to think of a good Star Wars Brie Larson joke, just so he can bring it every week. Cassandra, hey, we got a full house.
Hello, only a Brie Larson deals with absolutes.
So yeah, great. I liked it. I do kind of want a season 2. I want to see where this goes.
Well, yeah, that's happening because I think this one generated enough buzz, even though it is a smaller story.
Yes, so we shall see.
I don't know. We'll see who owns. You never know. Someone who really doesn't like Game of Thrones could buy it and say no, we're done, canceled.
Very easily.
It could be a disgruntled. It could be a disgruntled, you know, George R. R. Martin fan who's really pissed off that he hasn't completed the series.
Actually finished the books, yeah.
Just says done.
Oh, that would be great.
We'll discuss it when he finishes the book, but until then, forget it. It's Harry Potter time.
So the other thing I wanted to bring up, I hope everyone is enjoying our interview series that's been ongoing. That's the other thing we did this week. We sat down with Chuck Dixon and had a really great conversation with him. And I'm going to say that because I've noticed people are watching the show live when I'm streaming it, but we are pre-recording those. We're pre-recording them for 2 reasons, and I'm going to be completely transparent here. Is one, it's not easy to get guests to commit to come on Wednesday on a live show. Some of them aren't comfortable with doing a live show. And 2, we love you guys so much, but like the other thing is I want to have a conversation with the guest and not always be distracted by the comments. So, um, maybe we'll do a couple live. We'll live stream a few of them, but for now we're going to pre-record them. Unfortunately, we don't have one recorded for this week. Something has come up, and we won't be able to record it. It'll be there, but there will be one definitely next week. So that'll be recorded on Friday night. So more on that to come. But I also bring this up because we had Chuck on. People know that he one of the things we talked about on the show was that he is kind of blacklisted from the big two. I mean, this guy created Bane. It was one of the best writers for Batman in a long time. Worked on Nightfall with Denny O'Neil, and people loved them. And then politics became part of the how things work, and people didn't agree with his politics, and he got blacklisted. So we talked about that a little bit. Oh wait, Kasan says I wanted to ask Chuck a few questions. Great guest. Well, I will say two things. You can put your questions in the chat, and maybe we'll do a follow up with him. And two, he does watch the show sometimes live, so he might be watching right now. So he might be able to put a question in, and he might respond.
Yeah, and three, he has a YouTube channel and a show called Ask Chuck Dixon.
Oh, that's right. He does. Yes.
Go on there and shout out Superhero Speak or whatever. But I would encourage you to do that.
Tell him.
I've been listening to that a bit. Yeah, absolutely. But he'll be back, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can do a live stream or something. But yeah, it's really up to the guests. What they want to do.
Yes. But I became aware of this, and it kind of ties in. I became aware of this article was like a Substack thing that was posted in December, and it's made the rounds with a lot of people. Jacob Savage wrote this. He's a writer trying to, make it in Hollywood as a writer. And it's called The Lost Generation. Did you have a chance to look at it, or like
I did read a little bit, not all of it, but I did read a chunk right before the show, and I think the general gist.
So what's funny is he's a millennial, and so a lot of the millennials, my daughter can attest to this. My son-in-law can attest to some of this as well. So unfortunately, they were all sold the same story. Go to college and you'll get a great career. You'll be able to make something of yourself. And in the last 10 years or so, things changed in the corporate world. Last maybe even 15 years. HR departments started going, oh, well, we have to be more diverse. So if you're a white man, you're on the bottom of the list of possible candidates, regardless of how well you did at school, regardless of your references, and he talks about in this article that like he was writing a pilot and people loved it and it was going to be greenlit, and then they turned around and it was like, nope, no, we can't. We have too many shows written by white men right now, so we're not picking your show up, which like speaks, it says so much, right? Like, because we talked about that in entertainment, where it stopped being about writing the best story and getting people to watch your thing because you wrote something compelling and good. It's about the politics, and it's about, well, we don't want to be perceived as sexist or racist, so we're not going to hire you, even though you may have written the best story. We can't use it. And I kind of think that it explains a lot about some of the stuff coming out of Hollywood. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Is that, you kind of feel that way a little bit, Don?
I do feel that in that line of work, let's face it, the arts, writing, to me like that as an art. Yes, that community is going to be like that. That's
Yeah.
their politics. So, you know, I believe in capitalism, and when I say I believe in it, I believe that it drives everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's going to make the money, they don't care about DEI at that point.
True.
So if, they're going to pick what makes them the most money. And
Well,
per other professions, it's like they're going to pick, the best
I,
welder, the best,
I,
but
I
it's his profession. I think that, yes, they're going to lean that way. And I don't refute what's, being hypothesized here.
right, right. I agree that it comes down to profits, but we've said this on the show before too, is that if the perception is there's an audience for this that doesn't want, a straight white dude to write, but they want, the diverse people, and they think that's what's going to make them the most money. That's what they're going to go for, because they don't want the bad PR of oh, Hollywood's so white and all that kind of stuff. So I do think that, for a while at least, that's been the thing. It's like this is the perception we're getting from the world. This is what they want, so this is the direction we're going. Um I don't think it's worked out too well for them lately. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think that we are kind of in a paradigm shift
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of people have been fooled by the internet blogosphere and its amplifying effect upon any opinion. And oh, look at that, Captain Obvious, angry people really get motivated to make that happen. So they get this impression it has to be this way, or we're going to get canceled, or we're not going to make money. But that's really not the case. We want a good potato chip. We want a good Diet Pepsi. Like,
Yeah.
that's really. And so I think we're seeing kind of shift back to that focus, but which is some residual stuff, from the cancel culture that's still here.
Kasan
Um,
makes an excellent point here. Corporations don't care about DEI, they care about the bottom dollar.
mm,
They had an excuse to axe the white experienced writers by jumping on the DEI train. It backfired. Not enough experience. Yeah, like
yeah.
I agree with that too. I do think that was I never thought about it until you said it, but yeah, like that definitely was probably a deciding factor. We can pay these young, inexperienced people more, yeah, or less. I'm sorry, less than we're already paying, the experienced writers. So yeah, any excuse for cheaper labor, unfortunately.
It is a harsh reality, but listen, I've worked for the same company for 11 going on 12 years now.
Yeah,
They don't care about they want me to do what I do for as cheap as I will do it.
yeah.
And that's the bottom line. Don't get cushy with corporations, because that's not how they feel about you. Spoiler alert.
No way. Well, you know what? Speaking about people who maybe don't care about you at all, let's check
Mhm.
in with our good friend Dark Don. Yeah, you can find more superhero speak.
Darth Dawn here. And you must subscribe to Superhero Speak if you haven't already. And if you have already, make another account and subscribe again. You also will like this video. And while you're on the HoloNet, go to superheroespeak.com. Find the links to our merch and purchase one of our shirts. Don't skimp on the shipping, or else I will trap you in a box with an agitated Gundog named Brie Lawson. I would just force lightning you, but we don't have that in the effects budget. Now, back to the show.
Whew. You know, it got warm here today, and it's warm in my room, and with my studio lights on me, I'm spying a little bit. I'm spying. This weather
Looks like Spider-Man got turned on. So
yes, he's always turned on.
When Darth Don
so
appeared,
handsome.
no less.
Exactly. Exactly. Darth Don turns on Spider-Man.
You know what? Did this evening.
Let's talk a little news. So the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight, and I love all the outlets are framing this as like a great thing. The Henry Cavill Voltron movie finally gets a release window, but the release window is 2027.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been talking about this movie for a while. I don't feel there's been any real movement on it other than Henry Cavill's in it, and I'm sure they have I would hope they have a working script by now. I'm tired of these like, oh, we're gonna get the star first, then figure out the story, but I have a feeling that's another one of these cases. So you guys have a couple comments on it. I'm actually of the mindset this might never get made at this point, but we'll see. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm starting to come around to that line of thinking. Now, don't get me wrong. Depending on what you read on the internet, the film's wrapped already.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is. Hearing rumors, and these are all rumors, unsubstantiated, unverifiable. But apparently Henry Cavill, who is known for wanting and having a requirement to stick to the source material for his involvement, the rumor is that he's beefing over the suits. The people making the movie, they want to do like some cheap spandex suits to save some money, and he wants like more accurate suits for the Voltron Force.
Yeah.
And it is just a rumor, but again, like I stated, Henry Cavill does have, that standard to him. We've heard about that. We see where he quit The Witcher. Great show that everybody was watching, and that is now nothing because he walked away over authenticity. So yeah, it has me very, very worried that and it's hard to think. I know we all love Henry Cavill. He's such a nerd, but he is starting to become somewhat dangerous. He will, because he's butting heads with in what Chuck Dixon was saying about like they don't care about the comics they're making. They're not comic fans. The people that are making these comic book movies, they don't, they openly admit, they don't know or like the character or whatever. And a lot of them. Which, again, is all hurrah, I like that. But if it makes it so that that the thing doesn't happen, I don't know. Do we win the battle, lose the war? Is that happening when Henry Cavill gets involved in something?
Yeah, and I will say this for Cavill, that I know he got a lot of backlash for the version of Superman that he played. So, I would think that's part of the reason he wants to stick to source material more and have something he believes the fans want. Though I will say, no offense to Voltron fans, because I grew up loving Voltron, but which source material are we talking
Yeah.
about? The original 80s anime? Are we talking about the more modern? And two, like, once you decide which fan base you're appealing to, are there that many people that are really going to care how accurate the costume is to the original? Um, Frosty said, "Didn't Henry get hurt on set or something?" That was during Highlander. He hurt his leg, and they had to stop filming for a little bit. So yeah. And then what's Kassan say here? Hollywood needs a Henry Cavill to call their bullshit. This IP pillaging just to sell the name has to stop. They need to honor the authentic soul of beloved IPs. Yeah, again, I don't disagree with that, but I don't think the costumes are that much of a sticking point. I mean, I guess if it's cheap spandex and it looks cheap, that's one thing. But if it looks
Yeah.
decent and it's got the same color scheme as the original costume, I mean, let's be honest. Look at Captain America's costume in the Avengers movie. It was god awful, and them trying to claim they were sticking, closer to the comic. Like, no, it wasn't. you know. So yeah.
I know, which was weird because they got it so right in the Captain America movie.
Yes.
The first Captain America movie, like that was great. And then the Winter Soldier look though is awesome. So I know it's funny.
But it doesn't take you out of the movie, and then using the explanation that Coulson designed it makes it funny. So
yeah.
So yeah, it can work if it's done right. So yeah, I don't know.
Listen, man, they got feathered wings on feet, in the movies now. So come on.
I think if Cavill walks away from it, then it's done. So.
Oh yeah, I think Cavill is the draw.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I love Voltron, but it is. I mean, I think Power Rangers is a much more popular series for that genre. But there are a bunch of us who are nostalgic, and it is, interchangeable, combining robots, which is just fucking cool in all context.
And they gave us a Power Rangers reboot movie, and it didn't do well. And it's actually not a bad movie. We went and saw it.
My brother is a major Power Rangers fan. Swears that reboot was good.
We actually got invited to review it for the podcast opening weekend.
Nice.
And John and I went and saw it, and we were like, oh, this isn't bad, so it's just I don't think the word of mouth was great on it, and B, that movie did, I wouldn't say greatly went away from the source material, but it didn't feel like the TV show, but they were trying to make it feel more adult, where the TV show was obviously geared to kids. So yeah,
I figured it out. I've figured it out how that rumor about Henry Cavill in the suits is probably true. And this is actually, I've joked about this before on the show, and this is actually like a dumb thing that probably really does make Voltron harder to like market and do than Power Rangers, is the fact that their fucking suits don't all match the lions. Like the guy in the black suit pilots the red lion, the guy in the red suit pilots the black lion. So if we're staying like accurate, like they have to do that. And that's probably what they got in a fight over. He's like, no. The guy in the black suit is in the red lion. The guy in the red suit is in the black lion. And then later on, the girl in the pink suit's going to be in the blue lion. Or I'm walking. So that's what happened.
That is probably true. I never got that either. Like, why in every other anime does the color of the suit match the vehicle, and that's the only one where it doesn't? I'm sure there's a reason for it.
No.
I'm sure. No?
There is no explain. It's like they got mixed up. You remember that part where they run to the tunnels? Like it's like he got mixed up or something. And he's like,
no. I meant there's probably like in the original cartoon when they were making it, there was probably some reason that happened, but you know,
you're right. Probably because it's lifted from a Japanese.
right. All those shows were,
Yeah.
So, Kasan says, but MCU fans raise hell when a costume looks like crap. The show has voiced their dissatisfaction with MCU costume before. Let the man cook. Fine. I will say that, like, the earlier, with a few exceptions, like, some of the early costumes were terrible, and I do feel that they got better as they went along. In fact, the most accurate Captain America costume is Doomsday. Not Doomsday, I'm sorry. The Endgame. Yeah, thank you. Where it's the scale at that point, like that is costume. Like it took them all the way to the last movie with Steve Rogers Captain America to get the most accurate version of his costume. So yeah.
But they still wouldn't combine like the wings on the helmet with the scales, so they didn't go all the way. But yeah, it was close.
All right. Comic news. Imagine that. Comic news on a comic book podcast.
Yeah, I believe it. As Naruto would say.
We got an official release date for the Spider-Man Superman crossover event coming out March 25th. And will be available in all comic book stores.
1A plus 1A Marvel DC crossover.
Yes, and then there's a ton of variant covers. There's one with Spider-Man in his black costume, which I'm like, why?
Because that's what they do, man. They've always done just crazy shit with these variants. And now there's 20 variant covers per issue. So
and no offense to the artist who did the cover for the actual issue, like the 1A cover, but I'm not a fan of it. They made Spidey look super skinny in it, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's the first variant is Superman as the what you call it, the Superboy Prime type costume. And Spidey in his black costume. The B cover is really nice. Like, it's very epic looking. And then this goes back to the whole thing. Then there's one with female versions of Spider-Man, and it's Supergirl and the one of the female Spider-Man variants. And it's just like, why? Like, I just can't stand, I'm sorry, like, I've said this before, when they do a cover to sell a book, but what's in the cover is not in the story at all, like, that really bothers me, so.
That happens a lot. I mean, I reviewed a comic, the Conan one, where Conan and the villain were like, fighting, they're on the cover like they're gonna, and that, that's always annoyed me about comics. But yeah, I have an Iron Man issue with Colossus on the cover. Colossus is never in any
right, and you bought it because Colossus is on the cover.
Yes.
Right, exactly. Like, it's a bait and switch. Frosty says people love the black costume. I do. I love the black costume, but it's like, he's not wearing it in the issue. So it's like, you might see that and go, oh God, Superboy Prime versus Black's
symbiote Spider-Man.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, wait. That's not it at all. So yeah, that's my only point. Like, don't do that. Like, don't trick us to buy it.
Yeah, I really do I will never understand that about comics. Like, to me, it's like the cover should be like, sell this book. Sell what's in this book with this cover.
Sell the story.
Very important. Yeah, sell, and it's not. It's just do some shit. Whatever. Book 4 of 3, book 4 of 12, whatever.
All right, James is bringing up a point, and look. I have a couple friends who are cover artists, and I can attest to this. It's very common, but sometimes you just got to make deadlines, and sometimes they are not doing a bait and switch. This is true. They just give you a basic idea of what the story is and say, do a cover, and they don't give you parameters like it's got to be this costume or whatever. And yeah, it happens. But I do think, like, Colossus on the cover of an Iron Man comic that Colossus isn't in is kind of a bait and switch. Like, no, you're not. They know it's an Iron Man comic. Tell an artist to draw Iron Man for a cover. That's it. So, I have a friend who don't even read comics. He truly buys them for the cover art. I had a friend like that in high school too. Had a very large, fairly large comic book collection, and only if he thought he wanted to read the story, he would buy two, one to bag and board and one to read, because he thought all of these comics were going to be worth money someday. What a shame.
That's the comic boom of the 90s.
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, very much so. All right. Well, we talked about Spider-Man, so let's talk a little bit about Brand New Day. So this is a rumor, not news. But so apparently the rumor is the story is, so it is quote unquote confirmed that Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey.
Right.
And the movie starts out basically that she is captured by damage control and being held and tortured, and Spidey is the one who frees her and breaks her out. And that's, so I don't know how much I believe this, because I kind of feel like, oh, we had the Wonder Man show and they showed damage control being the bad guys. So let's create a rumor that damage control is the bad guys in Brand New Day. I could be. They've used that. They used damage control in Homecoming. They were the ones that stopped the Vulture from collecting the spare parts and making money off of it. So that's what turned him into a villain, basically. So, but I don't know. I don't think, given the way they have shown damage control so far in the MCU, I don't think they would have the ability to hold someone like Jean Grey. But I could be wrong. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea, and or do you think it's just a rumor? There's nothing to it.
I certainly hope it's just a rumor. That seems beneath Spider-Man. As we are gearing up for the next Spider-Man movie, we're looking forward to the Scorpion. Like, that's, like, Spider-Man has a great rogues gallery. Like, imagine, a Batman movie and the Riddler's in it, but the Riddler's not the villain. It's Arkham Asylum or some shit, or whatever organization or some mob. So that really seems beneath Spider-Man. And again, I think that's not really villains, Spider-Man villain that someone wants to see. So that would really be a lost opportunity. As far as holding Jean Grey, I agree with you. I don't think that's happening. I think she's gonna call somebody, or Professor Xavier is gonna get wind of it and not let that happen. So I agree with you there.
Right, because two things: A, they haven't shown the dampening collars that they had in the Deadpool. That like, they haven't shown that they exist in the MCU.
Carry it over from X-Men '97, but
right. But the other
MCU
again, there haven't been mutants yet, so why would they have dampening collars
outside of Kamala?
Well, yeah, to suppress mutant abilities, and then she could just use her powers to get free whenever she wanted.
Well, Doom could maybe bring it. I don't. Yeah, it could find its way. I don't know. We're in the multiverse.
Are we? So
yeah.
and yeah, I just you would have to give me a compelling reason why Peter would stick his neck out to save Jean Grey. Like, how would he even know there's a what you call it? A damage control facility holding her. Like, what's Frosty say? I believe they are making Spider-Man into the next Iron Man, where he is the focal point of the MCU. Now that they are now they will introduce new characters through his movies. Yeah.
Yes and no, though, right? Because they still don't even own the rights. I mean, they got a good relationship and they're making it work, but I don't know. If you're Disney, how do you make Spider-Man? I mean, but how do you not? That really is crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It's got me thinking. It really does. Yeah. Again, these are all rumors. We really don't. They haven't given us a trailer yet. Again, it's very odd. It's going to be out in a few months, and there has been no trailer for this movie yet. There's been rumors and quote unquote leaks, but nothing solid. So, Frosty forgot about the rights thing. So we'll see. Yeah, but part of the deal is that they have to have at least one more major Marvel character in every Spider-Man movie. So, sorry. So yeah, I mean, we know the Punisher's in it, and we know apparently Jean Grey's in it. So there's two major characters.
Well, we don't know Jean Grey's in it though yet.
Yeah,
we don't know that.
That's why I want a trailer to come out, because it's either going to confirm some of this or just blow it out of the water. So, Sony, what are you waiting for?
more free press.
Yeah. Didn't we? Didn't Kassan point that out last week, or Frosty, that they don't need a trailer because we keep talking about it? All right, and then the other thing that came out, and this drove me nuts too, because it's also being presented as like, oh, this is a good thing, and it really grinds my gears. That they are doing reshoots for Doomsday. More characters for these reshoots. No, because that means you're shoehorning characters in, and so where they weren't in the story, now all of a sudden, are they just background characters, or are you trying to make them fit in? And whenever these movies have a lot of reshoots, it's always like, that just didn't quite work. I think the greatest example, unfortunately, it wasn't a terrible movie, but it could have been so much better, was Captain America Brave New World. Like, so many reports of multiple reshoots for that movie, and you can tell, like, it just is not the most coherent best movie ever. So they already gave us some trailers, said it was a done deal, and now there's and I know it's the MO for Marvel. They do a lot of reshoots, but it's making me nervous. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess I haven't caught that bug where I hear about reshoots and instantly think, oh, something bad's gonna happen. Because I could see them like putting it together and just be like, oh boy, we could just have this. But it is expensive, I know that. So
yeah,
I do also understand that they don't spend a shitload of extra money because everything's okay. So I see both sides that, but I get it. If something's horrible, reshoot it. Don't just release it. So we're gonna have to see which one of those is the case.
I also kind of worry because it's like they're sitting there saying, "Oh, it's a great thing because they're bringing in more characters," which means it kind of feels like, "Oh, we don't think this is going to sell, so if we throw in more characters that people want to see, then we're gonna, make more money."
I
And it's just
mean,
like,
yeah.
that's how it reads to me.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that would necessarily mean more money. It probably means less money because you're going to have to pay more people. But at the
Right.
same time, I will acknowledge if like, yeah, they're going to bring in some more characters. They're going to bring in Puck and Sasquatch and Captain Britain. They'd be like, no, why? We don't need any more characters. But if like, oh yeah, they're going to bring in Magic and Colossus, and I'm like, oh yeah, all righty, so it could be really hit or miss,
I mean,
who the extra characters are.
if they did a if they did a reshoot to throw in a couple cameos, like a Henry Cavill Wolverine cameo, or a Henry Cavill
Oh,
Captain Britain cameo. I'm just
that's
saying.
bad.
I'm just saying that's as an example, right? Because I mean, it was
I
funny,
know.
and I'm not saying definitely Henry Cavill.
Okay.
Do the Tom Cruise Iron Man quick cameo. I think fans would like that. Would it be the reason to go see the movie? No, but it would be a fun little, Easter egg to throw in there. So that's all I'm saying. Like maybe, but like they're making it the way this quote unquote report sounds is like, no, they're doing it so they can add characters. And it's like I got a bad feeling about this. As the Star Wars quote goes. So we'll see. We'll see. You guys let us know in those comments down below. Do you think reshoots mean bad or good for Doomsday? So we shall see. I'm still also waiting for a full trailer. These teasers were great, but like, come on, let's get an actual trailer here. All right, going across the aisle, we got some DC news. The first one, I thought you brought this article to my attention. I don't think I agree with it. But it also ties into our interview with Chuck. So again, if you haven't watched it, go watch our interview with Chuck because he brings this up as well. in a sense. So basically, this article from comicbook.com is saying DC has set an impossibly high bar for Marvel's Avengers relaunch to clear. So yeah, they've announced that they're relaunching Avengers again in the comics. They do it every so many years. It'll be a new roster and whatnot. But because DC is having such great, Doomsday's a good guy, who was actually created to kill Darkseid, not Superman.
Right.
Those books are selling so well, they're insane numbers, that Marvel's really got to step up their game so they can beat these numbers, and they don't see it as being possible, and blah blah. I don't know, because I also feel like DC's doing this with gimmicks right now. I mean, people are finding the absolute books interesting, and they're reading them, but I feel like the KO stuff does feel a little bit gimmicky, and that's people are buying it because, again, let's go back to the 90s comic boom. People think, oh, this is an important issue, so I got to buy it so I can save money. Chuck didn't want to say that he felt that the things were funny, but I'm going to say it. I do think these numbers are insane that they're getting with these books, and it does feel a little off. Like, and granted, I said with the absolute, but the KO books are also selling well. With the absolute books, there was a lower barrier of entry. It's like when the the Ultimate Universe was first launched. It was you didn't need all these history of books. You could start there, and they did really well. And I think that's one of the reasons they did really well in the early 2000s. So, but the fact that they're continually selling like hotcakes is a little, I'll just say, suspect. Uh, what do you think? Do you think Marvel needs to step their game up? Do you think their writing has suffered in the last few years, and DC's just writing better books, or do you think there's more to this?
It's definitely interesting, but Marvel absolutely has to step their game up. And I even question why they're trying to, reboot the Avengers, and why not reboot the X-Men. I tell you right now, and I'm sure everyone's got 1,000 ideas on how to do this, but just have Wolverine, Cyclops, or really the original 5 plus Wolverine, maybe some others, reopen the School for Gifted Youngsters,
Mm-hmm.
even rename it and call it, the School of X for Gifted Youngsters. Make up some cool mechanic to where like no one can really fuck with it. Like if it ever gets attacked, it just gets zapped into limbo and protected that way or something.
Right.
And go back to you can have multiple books. You can have the School of X or the New Mutants, where it deals with the X school, mutant high school type aspect. And then you have the Uncanny X-Men, which is the team of seasoned X-Men that do things in front of the world stage, to try and increase the favor toward mutants. Then you have X-Force, who does like the Black Ops kind of dirty X-Men business. And then X Factor, I did like how in the Hickman era they were kind of an investigation team, and I thought that was a great angle. So you could do that, and I think they should do something like that. But I do think that the barrier of entry for the Absolute books being not there, they can get in from the beginning. Those comic book collectors who are reluctant to get into it because they in their head they will not be satisfied unless they have all 400, 500, 600 issues of this long. Well, they don't have to worry about that now. I can get in on number 1, or I can get in on number 5 and go get the back issues, and then boom, I'm in it. I think I think that this. I mean, the sales records are gonna be wrong. Warner Brothers is for sale, so there absolutely could be something nefarious, because isn't it all one package? Doesn't Warner Brothers own all of DC? So I mean, there's that too. So yeah, Marvel needs to step up, but the numbers, it is cool. It is an interesting thing going on there. It is.
Thrawn says Krakoa Academy could be the name of the book.
Sure, absolutely.
I could see that. I kind of wonder too. I've been thinking about this as well. Okay, we now live in the streaming world, right? And
yeah,
a lot of times we've talked about this. Depending on the service, it goes back and forth. Some shows are released weekly, and some shows, boom, the whole thing is put out day one, all 6-10 episodes, and most streaming shows are short. I think 10 is sometimes the maximum, or I mean, what, Night of the Seven Kingdoms was 6 episodes. Wonder Man was 6 half-hour episodes, so you could get through that really, really quickly. So I wonder if that plays a part in it. Like, younger people are used to that, where they're getting the whole story right away at once. And the idea of like, oh, I've got to, like, with the Absolute books, they can get by 4 back issues right away, and boom, they've got the whole story. Where they can't buy 500 back issues of Batman or Spider-Man, so they'll have to wait, or get the Cliff Notes. So yeah, I feel that plays into it. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
I don't think you're wrong. I just think that people really like continuity, really like having the whole collection.
Yeah.
The Absolute lets them do that with Batman and Superman, no less. So there's that. And yeah, I mean, Marvel does have to step it up. I mean, right now, there is a series called Magic and Colossus, and I'm not collecting it.
Yeah. Why is
Because
that,
they don't
Don?
know how to write Colossus. They relegate him to like some mind controlled murder machine or like a dump truck. He's just kind of there, like, oh hey, that building's falling. Can you hold it up? Oh, thank you, Colossus. While we go fight and do the cool shit, you just stand right there and hold that up, okay, buddy? We'll be back.
I find that fascinating because like they made him the moral compass in the Deadpool movies for Wade,
which is why I love him. But
so
yeah,
it's
no,
like,
they've put him through the ringer, and yeah.
so I'm like, that's the general non-comic book fan, general populace vision of Colossus right now. So write him as the moral compass character in the story, and I guarantee that's going to sell. So yeah. All right. Well, one last story. We got to talk about this. They've been talking about this show for a while. We got our first. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get copyright struck, but especially with Warner Brothers dying, they're doing everything they can to get money.
You've been copyright struck. I'll put that together.
But we got our first trailer for Lanterns coming out later this year.
Not Green Lanterns?
It's just called Lanterns, right? Because I think it's the Brown Lanterns. I don't know.
Oh, he followed Deadpool's advice. He thought he might die, so he wore his brown pants.
And that works because Ryan Reynolds was the first
Ryan Reynolds played the
Green Lantern, Hal Jordan.
And so yeah, so now Ryan Reynolds' glowy CGI suit is getting the George Lucas treatment because everyone likes that now. And just like everyone hated George Lucas, he was an abomination. And they put them sequels out, and I'm like, oh my god, George Lucas is the best Star Wars director ever. So it's getting the George Lucas treatment. CGI Ryan Reynolds suit.
All right. First off, let's talk about, before we get to the weird controversy, let's talk a little bit about the trailer itself, because they were definitely setting a tone in the trailer.
They were here. I'm going to give you 20% of the dialogue right now. Fuck. 20%.
They're giving us a tired, almost
haggard
looking Hal Jordan, who is the Green Lantern, and as apparently it comes off as he's training John Stewart to, I guess, be his replacement. And they're driving through what looks like a desert town, and there's stuff going on, and the fact, but they keep showing their relationship, like, oh, he's the young up and coming, and Hal Jordan doesn't respect him, and John Stewart thinks he's set in his ways, and he doesn't know what he could do a better job than him, so it's a contentious relationship. Which I feel the inspiration for that is, if anyone read the old Green Lantern Green Arrow series from the 70s, where they teamed up and they traveled across the country, like, fighting crime, and Hal Jordan was the more upbeat, like, happy-go-lucky, and Green Lantern or Green Arrow was the curmudgeon, everything's bad and terrible type character. Like, oh, okay, I feel like that's what they're doing. I could be wrong, but I feel like that was the inspiration for it. So before we get to the controversial stuff in the trailer, what did you think of the overall tone?
Yeah, I was surprised. James Gunn is really going for an edgy DC universe here. And maybe it's just because it's a show and it's not a movie, but it's James Gunn, so I don't think it's that. I think it's just the James Gunnifying of the DC universe. Really interesting that they are choosing to, I guess Jon Stewart is really going to be like the Green Lantern in the DCU.
That's the feeling I get from the trailer. Like by the end of the series, the season, Jon Stewart will be Green Lantern and Hal Jordan will just be, retired or whatever.
So starting with the third Lantern, interesting choice. I don't think it's a DEI thing. But I guess what makes me have kind of a problem with it is that if it really is all about, okay, we're going to have Jon Stewart be the DCU's Green Lantern, then how are they going to do Blackest Night, Brightest Day? We're like, spoiler alert for Blackest Night. Okay. Hal Jordan becomes like the White Lantern, and this is called Lanterns. So it even suggests that we might learn of other lantern colors and stuff.
Well, yeah,
so
because
we're joking about the brown, but it's still a Green Lantern. But
originally they were going
actual.
Originally, the show was going to be called the Green Lantern Corps or something like that, and then it just became Lanterns. So
yeah.
So yeah, that change in the title does suggest we will see the other lantern colors in the show. But yeah, you're right. The James Gunnifying of the DC universe, I agree. Like this does feel like that in a lot of ways. And again, it's just this trailer. It's not a super long trailer, but like the only real special effect is you see Hal Jordan flying away for like 1 second, which don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It looked really cool. It was very smooth. He's just standing there and he's got the ring on and he turns around and he flies away like in one continuous shot. Like it didn't feel like CGI. It didn't feel like he was wearing a harness because it looked really good. So I'm not sure how they did that shot, but it was, but that's it. Like it's the only real special effect.
No green glow that you would think would be there. Yeah.
Right. You don't see him using the ring to even like shoot beams or anything at one point. I'm like, okay. So yeah. But let's get to what I feel are some of the controversial things. And I'm going to start with Thrawn's comment here. Worst part of the trailer is them crashing a beautiful Grand National. So they're in the car and they're arguing, and he goes, well, do you think the ring would choose you or you think you could do a better job? And he puts the ring on the dashboard and he goes, let's see if it chooses you. And he jumps out of the car. Right. And then the car like goes over a cliff. And like later on in the trailer, you see Jon Stewart going up to him. It's like, I could have died, And it's just like that in my mind, and I'm not the biggest Green Lantern fan, but I've read quite a few Green Lantern books because someone I know did a lot of the covers for Darkest Night and Brightest Day, the Brightest Day more storyline. And it's like, I don't think Hal Jordan would do that. Number one, like, why would he be? He could have killed him. And two, canon is when the current Lantern who owns the ring dies, it finds the next person with the strongest will. Like it has nothing to do with them being a good person or whatever. It's all about willpower, who has the strongest will to be able to wield the ring. And it's just like, yeah, like that was a dick move and he could have killed him.
Like, yeah,
it just,
it's legit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I,
Did you feel that way?
I,
Like,
I didn't read much Green Lantern other than the Blackest Night stuff. So I don't know. I have to see what this impacts. I
yeah.
can't say that this is like, oh, this is completely unlike Hal Jordan. I think it is though, but I can't say that I'm
I
very
mean,
knowledgeable
I do
in
think
the subject matter.
in the later, more recent, or in later books, not the more recent, but later books, they did start making him like, because like he was a hothead test pilot, but then they started making him more of a jerk in the comics. So maybe that's what they're going for. But I really didn't like that,
Like, are we gonna like Guy Gardner Green Lantern better than Hal Jordan Green Lantern in the
Well,
DCU?
it's a good thing you brought up Guy Gardner. That was another controversial thing that, like, because everyone's talking about the color of the suit. We'll get to that in a second. But he says in the show, or in the trailer, I've never met another Lantern. You're basically like, they're all
Mm-hmm.
did you so that's not canon at all, because he does go to Oa to train and meets all the Lanterns, the Green Lanterns. And two, he's not met Guy Gardner, who was just in the Superman
Yeah.
movie. Like, what's the story here? You know?
Yeah. It's a complete mystery to me, man. I'll keep an open mind about it. But
are you talking about the flying scene, Frosty? He said it looked pretty cheesy to him. I don't know. I thought it looked good, but because I think I don't think people always appreciate what it takes to make those scenes look smooth like that.
Yeah.
Do they construct a dry cleaner when they need a suit cleaned? We'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, like, it doesn't, like, unless this comes out that this takes place before Superman, which I hate when they do that, but if it does, then okay, then maybe it makes sense. But again, then he never went to Oa to train,
But wouldn't it have to? Because otherwise, wouldn't they have gotten involved? And yeah, the fact that Guy Gardner's a thing, I don't know enough about it. In the comics, why are there multiple Earth Green Lanterns?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And of course, we also haven't even got to Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, there's other Lanterns too.
Which I could see them staying away from that. Although I don't know, they might get in trouble for staying away from that particular character, given his,
he didn't put her in the fridge. The writers did that.
Right.
If you don't know what being fridged means in comics lore, go look it up. Strange moment in the DC universe history. And then, to me, the final and biggest controversy in this whole thing is they show someone going through a closet, and it stops on a Green Lantern uniform hanging in the closet. And the controversy obviously has been online that it looks brown and not green. And it's like, and it was funny because they're like, there's no green in this trailer. And then DC came out with a tweet where they had like shown images from the trailer where there were green things, which I thought that was the dumb response.
Right.
No.
If you see that little speck, no, there it is. There's the green. Oh,
well, like, they're in a diner, and like there's a basket with fries, and the basket is green.
yeah.
There was the hotel sign, and the O was a green ring. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but like, I get it. Like the whole trailer should be green tinted. You know, there should be a green hue over the whole thing. Um, but the controversy online was that the suit looked brown, not green.
Yeah.
Like, and I was originally looking at it going, well, it could be a color correction issue. You know, it just looks brown in the trailer, but it actually is green. But the symbol in the chest looks green. So that would have looked
Yeah.
I would think that would have looked brown too if it was a color correction issue. Um, I think it's funny that everyone is concentrating on this so much and they're ignoring the most obvious thing. It is well established canon that his suit isn't a physical suit. The ring constructs it for him. Which yeah,
Yeah.
it was CGI in the movie and everyone complained about it. And like you said, now they're loving it. But on but on the other hand, like, yeah, why does hell does he have a suit hanging in the closet? I don't know. What do you think about the controversy of the suit?
Yeah, I know everyone was complaining about the color, and I do think that's weird. Again, it's brown, so it's like, yeah, he's bringing his brown pants. But no, I don't know a lot about Green Lantern, but yeah, I know that their suit like just kind of comes from the ring. So I'm like, why is there even a suit anyway to complain about?
Yeah.
He doesn't need a space suit because he just gets surrounded by the green shit. They can fly through space.
Yep.
So yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it was well established canon in the Super Friends cartoon in the 70s. So yeah,
Yeah.
like it's weird. Like why would you make that a thing? Why not make and the only reason I can think is because people complained about the CGI of the suit in the first movie, but it's like, okay, it can still be a practical suit, but it wouldn't ever be hanging in a closet.
Yeah.
You know, it would be created by the ring. Like that's the whole thing. The ring can construct whatever they can think of, you
Oh,
know.
look, a giant kaiju is destroying the city. Oh, okay. Let me go to my apartment and I'll get the suit on and I'll meet you there. Like, no.
Right. I mean, the funny thing is because Guy Gardner in the movie the whole time is in his suit.
Yeah.
So like you'd never see him dressed as a civilian and then use the ring to create the suit. But I didn't think that was a thing. Like I didn't think he went and put that suit on. I just thought he's just in costume the whole time we see him in the movie. But no, apparently it's hanging in the Hall of Justice where the Justice Gang hangs out. And yeah, and he dry cleans it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
man.
always thought that was a perk of being in the Green Lantern Corps. You don't have to buy your clothes anymore. No dry cleaning, no nothing. Hooked up.
So in the Gun universe, lanterns were around before Superman. Well, yeah. I mean, it's
They did
established.
that in the Snyderverse.
Yeah, and it's also established in the Superman movie. Like Green Lantern is established hero, and Superman has been around for a couple of years. So, yeah, um, yeah, it's the Lantern in the Gun universe. Superman wasn't the first hero. So yeah, and in the Snyderverse they do that too. So yeah. I don't know. Does this trailer excite you or turn you off on the idea of watching lanterns?
Neither. Because I'm not that big of a fan of the comics, so I can't call out as many inaccuracies. But I mean I am a little bit concerned though. And this is gonna sound corny, but I don't know. To me, like kids should be able to watch superhero shows, and doesn't look like they're going that
No,
direction.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. You pointed out there's a lot of foul language, and I mean it's also this idea that they're it's the same thing we complained about when we talked about the Superman movie and the fact that, like, yes, we don't want another origin story for Superman. We don't want another origin for all these characters, but then you're just throwing us in to this established universe, and we're supposed to just know what a Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific are. Like, they did a good job of explaining Mr. Terrific, but not the other character. Like, just Hawk, like, and the Hawkman and Hawkgirl have such complicated backstories in the comics. Like, just throwing her in was like, oh, okay. And then, like, now we're gonna go, okay, here's John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and like, the Green Lantern Corps is a thing, and possibly other lanterns. Are they going to explain any of that in a, you know, a 6-part TV show or however many episodes it is? Or is it going to just be like, they're just doing their thing, you know? So, and will that will probably also turn off casual fans because they won't understand probably half of what's going on. So we'll see. I mean, we got a few months.
The DCU is gonna last.
No, I don't think.
I mean, we've got like a good 4 or 5 years of them trying. So, but you know,
well, we'll see what happens when Paramount finalizes their deal.
A weird spot.
Very weird spot for them to be in. All right, that's it. I think I said all I got to say on that stuff. Another week where there really wasn't much to talk about, but here we are, an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
So on that note, it's that time, Don. It's time to ask that question.
What did we learn on the show tonight?
What did you learn, Don, or recommendations, or both? Man, I learned that, you know, week 2, week 3 without football, and it's doing us some good. So
yeah,
you know, Thrawn, right? We got Thrawn, we got Frosty, we got Kassan, James Burton.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I learned tonight. And recommendations, I really don't have. I have just not been doing anything. So, Metal, Fallout, if you haven't watched it, there you go.
All right. I learned that what did I learn? I learned that without football we got a full crowd watching us, and I also learned that you know, not everyone is a Green Lantern fan. Oh wait, I knew that already. I'm actually going to honestly recommend, if you haven't watched it yet, it's actually a pretty decent show. If you can get past some of the grossness and male nudity, watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms, because I do think there is going to be a second season, and it's not bad. It's a nice self-contained story. You don't have to worry too much about outside things, and they do explain enough that if you're not a huge Game of Thrones fan, you don't need to worry about that. They also explain, like, they explain what a hedge knight is. They explain the Tournament of Seven and all those things. So the key things to understand the show are explained in the show. So I enjoyed it, you know, and I recommend it. You guys go check it out too. So there you go. We did it, Don. We came to do it, and we got the thing done. So
we do every week.
On that note, every week. On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or two. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting